Hello, welcome to the Ender.io mod spotlight. This is a large mod that adds various storage options. It also adds for power, for items, and it has its own tiering system. So probably the simplest way to consider that is to look at the capacitors. So these capacitors are used in a variety of machines, and so a basic capacitor will make a basic capacitor bank, double will make a regular capacitor, and octadic will make a vibrant capacitor. And if you look at the recipes for it, you can see this is copper. This is an iron ingot. If you've got there's no world gen in Ender.io, and you can see that the tier up. So you would need energetic for this one. So you can see this will require some redstone, gold, and glowstone for the energetic in an alloy smelter, which I'll speak about soon. And then the vibrant alloy. This requires energy and ender pearl. So as you can see, if we look at it another way, then we could say that the factor to, obviously at the beginning copper very easy to get, but if we want to move on to the second tier, we're going to need something like this, right? We're going to need decent supplies of glowstone to be able to get decently on the second tier, and a decent supplies of ender pearl. So they're the sort of gating factors behind each tier. Okay. So that's one way to look at it. Now, what I want to do in this video is I don't want to go too fast, and I don't want to. I want to cover everything. That's the primary goal. So if you want someone to go really fast, I do that in my other videos, but in this I'm not going to do that because it's not going to be like hugely beneficial for me, because I haven't quite got everything sorted exactly how I want it. So let's look at the zombie generator. So if we look at generators, there are various different types of generators. Yeah, let's look at it like that. So we've got Stirling, combustion, and the zombie generator. So these are obviously all going to be able to, you can use capacitors to improve some of these things, right? So the zombie generator requires slice and splice, which is going to be coming a bit later. So maybe the best one to look at is going to be the Stirling generator, which just requires basic gears. You can see the recipe is very, very simple for that. Okay, so let's look at the Stirling generator then. Okay, so you can see we've got various different slots. So we can put coal in here. We can also do the I/O. So that's obviously in the name. So we can see like pull. So that's going to pull. So for instance, let's put down a chest here, and we'll put some coal in here and see what happens. And you can see, because I set this side over to pull, it's actually just pulled it straight in, right? And it's generating 20 RF a tick. And you can see various progress. And you can also see it's got redstone mode always active. So for instance, if we did active with signal, put in another piece of coal, so we can see that it's got about 10 seconds left to go on that. Another thing to point out is if we put in the capacitors here, so I'll just leave that there like that, just because I may reference it later on. We can see, just right click on it, it'll actually start burning too fast. And you can see, because it's active with signal, it's not actually going to keep on burning. So it's just generated 16,000 RF from that piece of coal. So that is a good way to get some power in it. And you can of course use various other like yeah, let's just focus on this model. Yeah, okay. So yeah, you can generate power like that, and this is probably a decent way to do it. Now what are you going to do in terms of cabling? Well, to get cabling you would need to use the Elytra wrench, right? So this requires electrical steel, which requires the alloy smelter. So yeah, I mean, so it's probably best to actually speak about the important machines, right? So these are the smelting and the doubling. So let's just consider the UIs of these two machines, right? I'm going to go. We'll just put it here. Okay. So what we might have, for instance, so we can see the sag mill, right? So this is going to process the ores. Let's actually just move them around. So we can shift right click, and it's just going to pop it off there. I'm going to shift right click, pop it off there, and you can see once you do that, if you've got settings inside, it will actually store all the settings as well. Okay, so this we can see we're going to need to give it some power. Okay, so let's take this away. And how might we want to give it power? Well, what we could do is simply put a coal generator here, and then we might want to get some energy cables, right? So what we might want to do then is we might want to get, say, the energy conduits. You can see these require conductive iron. Okay, so before you do anything, you would have to make the conductive iron. So what you would do is you could directly power the alloy smelter, and then make the conductive iron. So let's do that then. Okay, so we've got the alloy smelter here, right? So we can put some power into it, and you can see it's immediately going to start draining into the alloy smelter. So we want to get the conductive iron, right? So this is going to be redstone and iron in there. Okay, so we just put the redstone and iron in. Redstone and iron in there, and that's going to get conductive iron. There's various different substances that you may want. For instance, electrical steel is another one that we can talk about here. That's going to require iron. You can use coal powder coal powder, which you can get from various different things. Coal ore, if you still touch, or just regular pieces of coal is probably the easiest way to get it. Okay. So yeah, so you may want to get the conductive iron like that, and you can see we used about 10,000 RF in that. Well, not about exactly actually. Okay, but so once we've got a decent amount of conductive iron, we can then see. So let's just we can then see we need to make the energy conduits, right? So the conduit binder is going to require binder composite. So very simple recipe for that. I won't go into that one. There was actually something else here. Yeah. Okay, so a few other recipes that we could use. So yeah, so from there, okay. So I mean, I guess you can see basically at that point we can see how to make the energy conduits, right? So I think that's pretty clear enough. So what we might want to do is we may want to power both these machines with the energy conduits. So what we do is we just go like this, right? And then that will begin powering the machines. So you can see if I burn a bit more coal in here, we'll just do active without signal. You can see that both machines are now accruing power, right? So how do we actually know that? If we shift left click on any connection here, we can see that we've got various different modes here, right? We've got in, out, extract, insert, disabled. Okay. And you can see also on the right hand side here, we've got this little, you can see this thing that looks like the energy conduit. You can see right here and then right to the left is an energy conduit. So this is what's going on for the energy color, right? So this is just the energy tab. So this is like a tab system. This is the first tab. More tabs may appear. Okay, so yeah, so like I say, these are the things you might want to do. So what you might want to do with the sag mill is, this is your doubling, right? So what you might want to do is put in some iron here, and it will begin processing it, right? Put in a capacitor. And you can see we're going to get pulverized iron. Now maybe we want to extract that. So we could push it out. And you see it's immediately going to go here. And you see we've got it in furnace mode. There's furnace, it's also alloys mode as well. We'll just look at furnace mode there. And you can see it's going to get iron. And then what we might want to do is then extract that iron out, because that iron is probably going to go into a storage system, isn't it? So let's think about how we might want to implement the storage system. We're probably going to want a chest where we insert everything, right? Okay, let's just make it okay. Yeah, so before I do that though, maybe it would be a good idea to actually have a capacitor. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Like I say, it's probably not going to be that clear what I do in this, but I'm going to try and cover everything. So this needs pulsating iron. Pulsating iron is iron and ender pearls. Okay, so that's for the item conduits. Okay, so let's get some of those. So what we could do is we could just extract. So we're going to shift left click here. Extract. We'll do always active. And And you can see this one, if you look at it, you can see it's already got like this going the wrong way. So that we know that's in extract mode before we even open it. So if we just do insert, the iron goes immediately in. Okay, let's just remove this stuff. Actually, I've changed my mind. I think I want to do something a bit differently here. Okay. So we've got iron coming in here. We're going to have lots of things coming in here, right? And we're going to want to try to distribute them to the right place. The right place, so we've got in here nothing. Okay. So say we're going to have, so what we might have, right, is we might want to have a bank of chests, yeah, that will actually be able to store all the items that we've got. Okay, so we'll put it, we'll do something like this. This might be a quite clear way. So we definitely want all the iron to go in here, right? We're going to want all the iron to go in here. So how might we want to do that? Well, what we could do is we could say, well, we need to have a filter. So you can see there's various different things. So let me just show like before we get too much into it, let's just show a few different things that we might be able to do here. So say we've got two chests here. Now what if we did something like this? This round, enable round robin insert, and then we'll enable round robin insert. Okay, so this, you can see it's got extract never active. Okay, and we'll enable that. We'll always active. So let's see what happens now. So that's got 12, 16. So what you can see is it's doing it's a very powerful effect, the round robin effect, because what it does, it's often used for bees as well. There's actually a specific upgrade in bees called self feeder, which is I'm not sure if it's in newer versions. I don't believe there's such a thing as the feeder thing. But yeah, if you have bees, I think there may be extra stuff. So yeah, just point it out because obviously, so you can see it's going to round robin between the different items, between the different chests. So that's cool. And there are many, many different things we can do with the cables. So let's speak about some more of them. Okay, so another thing we may want to do is, and you can see we've actually got stone coming in here. Let's what I would like to do is let's just make sure that we don't run out here. So I'm just going to get some more coal generators, Sterling generators rather. That is RF tools, coal generator. Okay, so we're just going to line them up like this, and we're going to put a stack of coal coke in each. I'm just using coal coke just because it's obviously quite a powerful material. We could put some decent capacitors in there as well, maybe. Just put in some conduits. And yeah. Could use higher tier conduits, but it will be fine, I think. So these, you can see, they should be getting a lot of power now, just to keep everything running nice and smoothly. Okay, and you can see all the stuff. Another thing I didn't mention here is there's actually a slot here, and here we can put either flint. So you can see that will increase the output of 120, 125%, and the power reduction of 15%. Okay. Or you've also got the option for the dark steel balls, which is made with dark steel, which is like so: iron, coal powder, and obsidian. This has got basically it's just a better item. Okay. Okay, so you may want to also use mod item filters. So, for instance, we've got some nickel in this chest here. We may want that to go into the into here. So what we do is put this thing, the mod item filter. You can see it's just a Yeta wrench surrounded by some paper. So if we got a piece of nickel, what we might want to do is just put that in here, and that will say anything from thermal expansion will go in thermal foundation rather will go in this chest. Okay, so connect it up again, and you can see the nickel ingot has arrived. So that's pretty cool as well, and there are various different item filters that we can use. So let's take a look at all of them. So the first, so these are all for item conduits. So this is all actually specifically part of this block, you know, the item conduit block. Okay, so let's have a look at what other things we can do with them. We'll just I'll just remove a cable here quickly, and just briefly go through the various different item filters. So we can take that one out. So this is a basic item filter. So here we can do matching empty, so we can put anything we want in here. So let's see. So yeah. So we could put, you know, if I put stone in there, the stone would come in, right? And we can whitelist or blacklist. We'll speak about this button in a minute. This is to do with the terminal, the way that you actually view all the items. Okay, so there's the basic item filter. We have the advanced, which has got double, and you can see we've got a damage meter, various things. Okay, and this is interesting. This is a new one, sticky mode. So we'll have to go to a sticky output. Okay, so that's another interesting way of doing it. A lot of these features are quite new actually, because obviously I'm playing in quite recent. Existing item. Okay, so this is an interesting one. So if we did a snapshot and we go show, we can see what's actually in the chest. So only these items will be allowed to go into the chest. So what this actually effectively does is it works. And if we go clear, and we can't do anything, we can't see. But if we do we can go show, right? Now, if I then decide I want to put in, say, 9 conductive iron, what I can then do, right, is I can do merge and show, and that's actually going to provide me with, you know, it will just update it. So obviously what this means is if you've got large storage, you can have a huge thing in here, which means that really this is the most powerful item filter. And you can see by its precedence, it's more than advanced. So yeah, there's the mod which we looked at, and then we also have this one, the chargeable item filter. Let's take a look at that one. Okay, so we've got the sticky mode there. Only if an item is 100% will it be allowed to go in. So we could just take a look at that. So let's have a look. We'll just put in these 2 shovels. So insert if it's 100%, right? Okay. So we'll do that. Always active. Get rid of round robin mode. You can see you can actually rotate the chest like that as well. Okay, that doesn't seem to be working though. Let's see if that's made a difference. Interesting. Okay, so the next one is going to be this, the chargeable item filter. And you can see we need a conduit probe to make that. We use silicon. Silicon is pretty important because you use it to make the remote awareness upgrade, which is going to be used for the inventory panel. Okay, so the conduit probe also has some interesting effects. You can see, so you can display details about the network, for instance, in the regular mode. So we could click here. We can see various different stats about the network with that, right? But we could also, it also has an alternative functionality. Just press Y. So for instance, say we have a couple of item conduits. So we're just going to put them randomly here, right? This is just for demonstration. So we're going to change extract on blue, green, round robin enabled, right? What we may want to do is we may want to copy those settings over to this. So say there's a huge bank of things and we just want to put the same settings on each one. So in order to save time, what you do is use Y to toggle. So it's this right one here, the one with it, which looks like copy and paste. We're going to shift right click, copy settings. You can see, if you notice there, just look on there, this bit, and you can see now this has got all the settings that the other one had, right? So that's a pretty neat little feature there. Yeah. So what else is there? So there's other things to. I mean, there's other things that we can look at. Like obviously, you notice this thing extract on. You could say extract on green, insert on green, right? So what if I did something like we'll go to the next chest maybe. And this chest is going to be, we'll say, insert on blue. Okay? So we're going to extract on blue. And now what you'll see, this chest is not doing much. This chest is getting everything, right? Yeah. Yeah, this was originally just as a point, right? Something which I actually didn't make clear, which I actually wanted to make clear with this. I've just remembered because I've seen those spades. Yeah, you have to one of the filters, which this chargeable item, it doesn't work. Obviously, it's just charged items, right? Charging with energy. So, for instance, if I had, let's put in. Let's put in basic capacitor bank. These two, right? Okay, everything is getting routed here at the moment, but that's not exactly what I want to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this, and right, let's just yeah. So we're going to extract on blue, always active, right? So here we'll make this one insert on blue. And you can see we've got equals 100%. Okay, so let's have a look. Put these capacitors in. So you can see that only the first one went because that was the only one that matched the charging statistic of that. Okay, so that's cool. And we've been through a fair amount of these things. So what else might you want to do? Another thing that you can do as well. Put another cable here. We're going to have this insert. We're going to make this priority 5. Okay, we have no filter on it though. So what this means now. Okay, let's just make them all the color all the same here because because the thing is we're using like a similar kind of thing here. So what I could do here actually is I could just shift click this and then right click here. Okay, so now we're going to get additional items, right? So the additional items will come. And if you look, see this is insert 0 and this is insert. We'll put this one on 5. So what you can actually see is this one's going up. This one's still the same, right? Okay, here I have a small setup which is just to show some of the newer blocks that have come out. So the system storage, right? So this goes from 81 stacks to 540 stacks. And what you might want to do is have like a storage system. So for instance, I've got it set up to have some astral sorcery here, right? So say I get the Starlight Infuser, right? We can see I've got 2 items in there at the moment. There's 2 items here. I put this in here, in the return area, and it immediately goes in here. So now we've got 3 items here, right? And the way I did that is basically, if we have, I've got everything extracting from this chest, okay? So for instance, I could put, let's do a similar setup with the thermal expansion items, just to sort of show how this might work. Because keep in mind, it doesn't matter if I put it in the chest at the moment. So what I'll do, I've got the item conduit here, right? I'll go here. I'm going to put a mod item filter in here. I'm also going to put the remote awareness upgrade in here. And then I'm going to, let's just use one of these thermal mediators, okay? So put the thermal mediator here. So that's going to say thermal expansion items go in here. And then the remote awareness upgrade will allow me to connect to anything on the network here, like this, right? Okay, so here, all I need to do then is simply connect up another conduit here, right? Make sure this is in insert mode. And you can see this is accruing the items from thermal, actually this is accruing all the items. And it's because I didn't put the mod item filter in there. Yep. Where did I put the mod item filter? That's interesting, isn't it? So yeah, we'll just put the mediator in here. Okay, we'll put the numismatic dynamo then. Okay. So now it's getting all the thermal expansion items. And you see the iron is not actually being removed now. So if I go in here, I grab this iron back out. And you see if I put this the iron in here now, it's just going to stay here. It's not actually going back into the system. So look, if you just look here, right, got 131 items in here. Still 131. They're not actually going anywhere. They're simply staying. This is, if you look here, this is just an internal storage for this right? And if I wanted to, as you can see, because I didn't set it up correctly, but you could just have it insert, and then you could have nothing in. So what you would basically do is you would say you can specify each of these blocks to have different things in them, right? And the inventory panel. So this runs on nutrient distillation, right? The inventory panel. So what about that? Let's have a look at this section then. So the nutrient distillation, if we look at how we might get it, we need to do water requires this in the vat. Okay. So one thing I know, right, is that let's do another little section here. Is that we do need to have, you see, a vat is a useful thing to have, right? So what might we want to supply to the vat? Well, say we wanted to make the nutrient distillation. I'll tell you, I'm going to look at what I actually want to get, which is this, the vapor of levity. This is what you use in, this is what you use basically to get a lot of important stuff. So we need to go from nutrient distillation to Dura the Void, and then from there we can go to vapor of levity, right? If we look at it, yes. Then we would need grains of piezoality and grains of prescience as well. Okay. Let's begin with nutrient distillation. We're going to also talk about some of the other machines. So to get water in, which we need for the nutrient distillation. So the nutrient distillation is going to be water and then various items, right? So how might you get the water in? Well, the way to get the water in is with this, the reservoir. You want to do a 2x2. And then you want to get water. Okay, so that will give you a solid block of water, and then you want to go for the fluid conduits. So, yeah, so you obviously want to go for the better ones to do everything faster, the fluid rate, the pull rate, all these sorts of things. So we can see now, if we do that, all we'll simply do is make sure that we've got. Well, I mean, there's different ways to configure it. Often the easiest way is just to do pull here, So you can see there's actually quite a lot you can do here. Let's see if we can get that water in there. Okay, so you often, I guess often the bottleneck then is really the extractor, isn't it? Because it always starts on never active. So that is really the way that you're gonna get the stuff in. Okay, so from here, as you can see with the nutrient distillation, there's various different ways to get the stuff. So skeleton skull and mushroom. Say something like that, right? So we'll get skeleton skulls and mushrooms. Was it this one? Let's have a look. And you can see that's going to start cooking up, and that's going to start creating nutrient distillation, which, as we just saw, is going to be pretty useful for you need it for the storage system. And this is like the way that the storage system is done now. You just have these various things, and then of course, because you've got item conduits, you can apply all those things that I just mentioned earlier, right? Okay. So one of the reasons, by the way, I'm getting vapor of levity is because a lot of these under-IO liquids are used stuff. Vapor of levity is actually the best coolant in extreme reactors, right? So that's why you might want to get it. Okay. Okay, so say we want to then we want to extract. So let's extract. What do we want to extract? We could extract nutrient distillation, right? Whitelist nutrient distillation, extract it. And we're going to put it into a second vat. And why not put some cables here as well? So this vat is getting stuff. Remember, the never active, this is going to be, so if we look at, it's this, so this is the vat we want. We're going to go always active on this one. And you can see the nutrient distillation is filling up, right? So how do we go further with the nutrient distillation? Okay, so this is going to actually make the dark bow there. And we're going to speak about that in a moment as well. Okay. So nutrient distillation. Let's just go find our target, find out how we're going to get there. How do we get this stuff? So to get up to here, we're going to need grains of causality and grains of the end. Okay. So for this, we're going to need a pulsating crystal. So we've seen how to do that already, right? Well, pulsating, oh yeah, there's various other things. There's pulsating iron and conductive iron as well, which are pretty easy things to get. Yeah, let's look at the keyword pulsating. Why not? Not too much really. So yeah, so the grains of causality, we need that pulsating crystal, which we can get, and then we'll get the grains of causality from that. Okay, what about grains of the ends? Is that more difficult? We need an ender crystal for that. And that requires the soul binder. Okay, so at this point, I've kind of held it off a little bit here, but at this point, let's think about... oh yeah, we've still got the zombie generator from way back. And that needs a slice and splice. Okay. Okay, this is what I was thinking of, yeah. See? Basically, the way it works, the painting machine, is that, for instance, I can paint the soul binder, but it's to do with the transparency of the block. So you can do soul binder to look like a poppy. It's not really very relevant. Most of the time, you have to do stuff with like, you know, like fences and a glowstone. It's not quite as what you might think here. So you could do, you know, stuff like this. You know, texture the. You know, make a painted fence or something like that. Get some slightly different textures, but this sort of thing is not actually the standard. I didn't quite realise that, but anyway. So yeah, we were looking to get vapor of levity, right? And yeah, if we just I wanted to look at. We do need to look at lots of different things, but I can actually just store all that XP in there. Yeah, so this is one of the obelisks. We'll speak more about the obelisks if we just look at some of the. But yeah, you can see that the recipes also require solarium, so I guess it kind of measures in with the slice and splice. So yeah, so the slice and let's just look at what we can do. So the zombie electrode, which is for the zombie generator. Yeah, and this is actually not a bad time to look at the zombie generator, right? Because if you look at what the zombie generator does, it needs nutrient distillation, right? So yeah, this is another way to get it. So this would be the setup. So it's a very important thing to get nutrient distillation. The soul binder needs broken spawners, and what you would do is you would capture like an animal in a soul file. So I'm just trying to think if there's any particularly nearby. Not really, but you know, so you might have pig. And you might be able to, you know, just capture that like this. And then what you would do is you would get a broken spawner, which you just get from breaking it, right? But here's the thing: this is a broken skeleton spawner. So what you would need to do is you would have to get a powered spawner, right? Which is made like this. So that's what you need the slice and splice for, stuff like this, right? And the skeleton head, you need the vibrant crystal, all these things you see, and it's all like, you can see how it kind of comes together like that. But yeah, I mean, that's like, so like I say, so we need, so the zombie generator is what you use the zombie electrode for. This is for the filters. There's also an auto crafter system as well, which I didn't actually speak about. The farming station is very, very important with the yeah. I'm not actually going to. I don't know if I'll go too much into farming station. It's one of those things which is like is the most popular feature. So, but you can see that Soulbinder actually does need some. Yeah. So you need to make the Franken zombie for the Killer Joe. This is for killing enemies. Again, needs nutrient distillation. So you can really see how important nutrient distillation is for a lot of things. We may talk about that later, but there's still other things I want to talk about. So yeah. Let's keep on chucking away stuff, and let's think. Let's try and get this VAT system sorted. So we want to get. So we established we can get these things, the grains of piezoality, the end grains. Also not too much of a problem, right? Just a soul vial of an enderman and a vibrant crystal to get the ender crystal. So then we can simply put these in here, right? Okay, so that's good. So we can see how that might want to work. But yeah, like there's lots of things like with the obelisks as well, right? So attract obelisk. You can see a lot of these things. Enticing crystal, again, just a soul vial. It's just all this stuff. A lot of these recipes now are coming from the same sort of. So you can't get that. Stops mob spawns. Relocates mobs at spawn. So I guess, I mean, I could try to look at the relocate. Some of these obviously not that difficult, not that easy to show really. Okay, so say we get that, and then we could take a pig spawn out. Let's see what happens if so powered spawner, and you can see I don't actually have access to a pig spawner, right? So say if I did this, let's say we've got an anvil. Let's have a look, see what might happen here. This is an interesting error I'm getting. There you go, you can see that it does a funny thing there as well. Combine with a broken spawner in an anvil. Yeah, this is actually going to be difficult to get, isn't it? I could get a pig spawner from here, right? Can I get one? I can't. So there is one way I believe I might be able to get it. If I go something like this, let's have a look. This should work, right? Oh, you can't place them though, can you? You can't place regular spawners. Can I place this one maybe? That actually already is a pig spawner. So this thing, it's not got any power, the relocator obelisk. Okay, so let's feed some power in. We'll just use why not use a dimensional transceiver to do that. Haven't looked at this either. You can see similar sort of materials. Again, we need the slice and splice. Pretty powerful thing. So what we'll do is we'll get the so that's going to output from there, and then we've got the a capacitor bank here. Okay, so we're looking at the power, right? We'll do a power channel. We'd put it. We need to use the relocator, right? We'll add it, and we'll send it. Here, we're looking at the power channel. We'll receive this power. And there it is. So now, if I take the so how might it relocate it? I'm not exactly sure. So we'll take another sol vial out, and we'll put it in the. I've already got one actually. I'm curious to see what happens if we put in some of the other ones. So version obelisk probably won't do much. I could try the attractor one, couldn't I? Put another pig in there. Let's yeah, let's do that. So the radius, show range. So the relocator may be interfering with it. So any pig should be going towards the attractor obelisk at this point. You can see these pigs are not, but let's see what happens if I push this pig inside to the area. You can see they all the pigs begin to go. So that's pretty cool. And you can see they all just go around the attractor obelisk. Now, what if you had a Killer Joe here? So the Killer Joe again, Franken Zombie, which is a Z logic in the slice and splice. So you can see how this sort of like this is like the whole thing with the spawners and stuff, right? Where'd it go, the Killer Joe? So what you might want to do, right? You would one of the ways you can think about it is you have an attractor obelisk, and then so it does require nutrient distillation. We'll put some in, and then you can see it's asking for a weapon basically. So say an axe, right, or a sword. It doesn't really matter. And you can see the range of this. So you can see anything in this range is going to get killed, right? Okay, so he doesn't even need to do always active, hide range. Yeah, we can hide the range now. And maybe there's actually got this block in the way which is causing a problem. Let's just move it to a slightly different place. Okay. Oh no. See, the reason it's not working is because I didn't realise, I didn't read that correctly. It requires 1400 for... So there we go, you can see it's now working. So you can see how using... and it's quite powerful obviously. So you can see how using this kind of setup might be kind of useful, right? Well, I'm not getting much luck with the weather here. So yeah, I mean, and there's other things, right? So I looked at the buffers, I looked at quite a lot actually now I think about it. So the farming station, again, pretty interesting. It's a more complex block, you have to set up a whole farm. I won't go into it, but basically you can... One of the things you may want to do is... one of the commonly used features of this you just simply do some craft. So you may want to craft, say, like wooden hose, and then you can extract them like at a suitable time. So, yeah, all right. Let me just. As you can see, this works pretty effectively. I'll just get rid of some of this stuff. Yeah, let me just get rid of it. Now, so yeah, the farming station's pretty cool. Damn it. Alright, let me just go here for a second. So if we look at Ender.io, what have we not really included? And the answer is not much. The combustion generator, again, is pretty interesting. But yeah, I did kind of want to finish off... what is the command for this? I think I recently did this. So we call kill at e type equals pig, I believe. Okay. So this is getting a bit annoying now. But anyway, so that's actually proved to be very useful there. So what now? Well, actually, funny enough, you actually just saw the... I provided an implementation of the test right there. You can see these are all the various different things, right? You can ignore damage power. You can do different channels for all the different stuff, right? For items. This is like to see what's actually going on at the moment. What about this thing? Is the ender rail not here? I thought it was here. Oh, there is actually the exit rail. Oh, must be a new thing. This is supposedly goes on top, yeah. So if we look at the recipe for this, maybe the... So there should now be is there a tab for this? Yeah, there should actually be a tab within... I think you just place... maybe this has not been implemented yet. This is a thing which is actually basically teleport when you're on a minecart from one area to another. But I'll have to... I'm probably at just slightly the wrong moment of time to be able to cover that. So yeah, the combustion... oh yeah, the... another thing I just didn't cover at all was these things. So these are the 3 tiers of solar panel. Pretty straightforward. They just... you know, so that's got 8... Okay, yeah, so to charge this stuff you just do something like that. Right? And then we've got access to the stuff wirelessly. So that's cool. So yeah, let's so go through the obelisks one more time, maybe. If I can even spell obelisk. Tractor aversion, relocate, experience, weather, changes, inhibitor prevents teleporting from Enderman, or anything, I think, actually. You can fill a tank with... This needs fireworks, the weather obelisk. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, these are some of the obelisks that you don't often see that much. Range. But yeah, all the interesting obelisks, though, that you know are going to have interesting... Yeah, this, I think, is probably like... Is any mobs that spawn outside its range... And oh yeah, by the way, I believe if you put capacitors in, there's also another thing I've just remembered as well. There are like different capacitors, loot capacitors, so that's another cool thing. Interesting what happened there. But yeah, like the powered spawner. So for instance, there's actually different functionality on the powered spawner. You can actually use a capture mode as well. So there's that. And what else? Well, if we look at the armor, let's just look at the armor. I think, to be honest, I'm at this point now of this video where I think I've kind of like... Yeah, I haven't covered like everything perfectly. But there's so many like little things that you can do in Ender.io. There's the enchanter, it requires lapis. You can get any enchanter you want. There's Indirios, which are the food that you teleport with. there's the lights, the RF gauge. Take a look at that. There's various things you can do with the capacitors. Like that. You can see various different settings. I mean, this is what you have to realise, right? This is like a very large and important mod, and it's very difficult to really showcase everything. So, I've got the Elytra Effect here. So very powerful things. Empowered jump, triple jumps, all using power, speed, Elytra, sound locator, generates power from the sun, so it actually doesn't even, you can see it's not even, well actually it should be losing energy, shouldn't it now? It's actually got the one probe on it as well, that's another feature of it. But yeah, I love this armor. It's really cool when you completely empower it. One of the reasons I'm probably not losing anything is because I'm too near the wireless charger, perhaps. And this is a lunar thing as well. But yeah, I mean, and then there's these, and then of course, like if you look at the Ender Sword, this can do various things as well. So this is the Staff of Travelling effect, right? So that is another item. And then of course there's the Telepad. So you can really just see like how much stuff there is in this mod. But like I say, I can just tell this video is going to be a ridiculous amount of length of time already. Okay, so what you would need for this, I believe, is the coordinate selector, isn't it? Something like that. So you can look at this thing. So prints coordinates of a block. No paper inventory, okay. Okay, patch, I don't know. Put this in. Stand on top of it. Not got any power. Okay, so nothing happens. So, and you can do some settings. Just get a tesseract. I keep calling it tesseract. Dimensional transceiver. Should be able to just connect it up. Let's have a look. And it says not enough due to the void to teleport. Interesting. So it does need that in there. So you can see why. Let's try it. Put it in. Not like that, we won't. Let's just get a tank. Oh yeah, the dark tank is better actually. Yeah, you see, dark steel, by the way, is what you use for all the armor. Didn't really mention that, but let's put it. I can't actually see where the tank. Was it that one? Funnily enough, this doesn't actually. I wonder if I need to go underneath it. But yeah, you can imagine what this does anyway. It just teleports you. It's not like there we go. We got it out that time. So yeah, pretty cool. And yeah, I mean I really like that thing. There is actually Isn't there like something called the Ender IO? The Enderios. Can't even eat them, but they do teleport you. Got a bit of flavor text there. Ender Pearl Powder. But yeah, I mean, it's just a really cool mod. This, like, there's so many cool things you can do with it. Haven't even spoken. You've got the XP. You've got like vacuum chests for both XP. You have to activate this with liquid essence, liquid XP. So you just stick that in, and it's active, and it will pick up XP. Yeah, the vacuum chest picks up drops. You can put filter, so you can see it did it automatically, no power required. And yeah, just an amazing mod, really. Like the item buffer, power buffer. Yeah, I mean they just look. They're basically the same, right? As I think I showed the Omni buffer. They just got a little, you know. The power one obviously does require. I mean, but then again, you're feeding power into it. It's not a huge deal. There's these things like the power monitors. So yeah, various different monitor blocks. Power monitor, and you tend to do. This is what you do. You just emit a redstone signal using the redstone conduits. I didn't even talk about them, to be honest, but you know, oh well. You can imagine what they do. They trigger a lot of the stuff. A lot of the items have got. So yeah, craft a fluid tank. I really can't see anything that I've actually missed in like the whole mod. I don't think. I think I've kind of alluded to just about everything here, and that was really my intention. Maybe not to cover everything perfectly. Like I haven't really said like, where did it go? I mean, I haven't covered everything perfectly. There will always be more things that you can talk about. But yeah, you can see you can put various things here in the dialing device as well. But really, like, there's so many. Rod of return returns a user to a telepad sync with a telepad. So yeah, so this is another thing. Synchronized with telepad. So you can see stuff like that. And yeah, and I really think that's. I mean, the dark shears. I don't know. We're going to be here for a while. I just say, oh yeah, and that's it. There's the pickaxe as well. The axe does cool stuff. Multiple logs. You know, the bow does great stuff. The dark shears. It shears a lot basically. I think it's 5x3. I think I remember seeing. There's no real you know, no real bone meal around. The crystals, various different crystals, loose twigs and prunings. Some of the stuff coming through is crazy. Look at that, slime ball and loose twigs gets you cocoa beans. It's just amazing what's coming out in this mod, and yeah, everything. It's just really kicking. It's kicking into high gear with 1.10.11. There's even the glider, which is an upgrade and stuff for the chest plate. Self-resetting levers, reinforced obsidian for the wither stuff. Dark anvils work much better than a vanilla one, unsurprisingly, I suppose. And different silent pressure plates, Solarium pressure plates, only activated by specific mobs, so only activated by hostile mobs. So some interesting effects there. More dark steel things. Faster ladders, fused quartz, the enlightened glass, so mobs can't see you and stuff like that. Yeah, win the combustion generator. Just to talk about that, I didn't really speak about that, but you see, if you use a rocket fuel in the combustion generator to generate the most RF, right? So you'd make it in the vat. I didn't speak too much about the liquids, but it's fairly straightforward. Yeah, you can use hooch, very common liquid to use as well. Can't see the recipes for the vat for the combustion generator at the moment. Let's just check them very briefly. you can see, so hooch will get you, hooch and water 60 RF, fire, water and water 80, and then the big one, rocket fuel. Thanks for watching.